Hello, my name is John Basic with the Wilbur Curtis Company. Today we're going to cover some quick installation points on the D500 brewer and the D60 Generation 3 brewer. Aside from the cabinet difference, these two brewers are identical. The D500 is intended to mate up with a lever top air pot or a gravity pot. The D60 brewer is intended to be used with a 64-ounce quart pot. Once up on the counter, you'll notice that the rear feet are nylon and the front feet are rubber. The rubber feet keep the unit from sliding, the nylon allow you to move it for final placement or cleaning. So we'll just lift slightly in the front and you'll see that's very easy to move around. Now we're ready to work on our plumbing. Please note that in this case we're installing a few extra fittings to allow the end user to be able to self-change the filter without any hand tools. First we're going to remove this 1/4-inch flare fitting on the back of the machine. When you do so, please make sure you get out any leftover threads of Teflon tape. Once you've applied fresh Teflon tape to the 90-degree fitting, go ahead and reinstall that in the back of the unit. You'll also notice that on all the Curtis Generation 3 equipment, the filter mounting screws are already there. This makes for an easy installation of the filter head. Now let's shift over to this unit here where the plumbing is already installed. You'll notice these red clips at each connection point. And again, these are critical to locking the tubing in once it's fully inserted. The clips will keep it from coming apart. Here's a close-up of inserting the tube into the fitting. You'll notice that the red clip is already in place. Makes it a lot easier for your installation. You'll notice it goes in quite a ways. Next we're going to install this filter on the back of the brewer and lock it into place. Please carefully install the rest of the fittings using Teflon tape on all the threaded parts. Again, just a reminder that all the locks are in place. And also, if you would, please notice the slope of the exit side of the filter. It kind of slopes inward against the cabinet and down. You may have some different tube routing on the different machines, but on all of them, the exit side is going to go ahead and slope inward just like this to go around the filter in a natural curve. If for any reason you need to disassemble the hose after installation, go ahead and remove the red clip, push down on the collar, and the tubing will slide out. And again, please make sure that the cut is clean and square without any burrs or nicks. And also please double check your tubing length before you cut it to make sure that it's not too short or too long. On the inlet side, you'll notice that it's set up for John Guest tubing. If the house is plumbed with that, install that and you're good to go. If the house is supplied with flex tubing, we have supplied two fittings. One is a 1/4-inch barb to John Guest, the other is a 3/8 barb to John Guest. Depending on the plumbing hose that's there, select the appropriate one, install it. Very important here, make sure that you use either an Oetiker style clamp or a metal worm clamp depending on what's in your inventory. Intentionally, we have not supplied either clamp, not knowing which device you're going to be using. So the metal clamping aspect is up to you, the installation technician. Once your inlet fitting is completed, again, make sure everything is securely fastened, make sure your filter is fully tight. Go ahead and turn on the house water. And then of course your valve is closed here. We're going to disconnect, the quick disconnect, and route this into a pail. Now we're going to go ahead and purge the filter. When you're done, go ahead and shut the valve and reconnect your fitting. You'll notice that there's a distinctive click when it's properly seated. Once we're fully reconnected here, go ahead and plug your power into the wall. open the ball valve to the filter and spin the unit around. Once done, you'll just want to make sure none of the tubing is kinked and everything is nice and tight. Once we've turned the unit back around, reach around the back, turn on the toggle in the rear and the power in the front. Once the unit starts to fill, you'll notice that it says filling on the screen. Once the tank is filled, it begins to heat and the front screen will indicate heating. Once the tank is filled and fully warm, the unit will indicate ready to brew. Please note that these brewers have been pre-calibrated at the factory, matching the brewing profile selected by the coffee roaster. What that means is you'll be able to take it out of the box, add the plumbing, add the electrical, and you're good to go. Every brewer will deliver the same great cup of coffee. Also on the top there are some adjustment instructions included. Again, we don't believe you'll need to do any adjustments, but just to let you know there's some additional information taped to the top of every unit. Thanks a lot for using Curtis.